Griff and Joey are at the wall. They're going to give a deep dive into the 6 30,000-pound bombs that were designed to destroy deep underground targets.
Yeah, that's right, Rachel. And, you know, as Joe and I are standing here, you can see we heard so much about Fordo, the bunker, the nuclear site that only this U.S. bomb, only U.S. airplanes could reach. Natanz, which has long been the main nuclear facility that we've heard so much about, that Israel began hitting hard. And Isfahan. Isfahan was significant, we knew, because that's where they manufactured centrifuges. That's where the scientists that were killed by the Israelis were working to enrich uranium. But we're learning now some new details this morning that actually Isfahan may have been a harder target to hit, in some ways even more so than Fordo.
Yeah, so the intel we have is that these 30,000-pound bunker busters were all used in Fordo because of the distance into the ground and going through the vents, kind of like the scene from Top Gun. But Isfahan being a place, apparently they used Tomahawks and were able to get to what they needed to. I think what's important here is that we can erase all of their material wealth as far as what they've mined or what they've acquired and what they've enriched, but we can't erase the knowledge they've gained. And so you have to get as much of this as you can, because if the regime stays in power, they have the opportunity to do this all over again. And that's kind of the big issue that we're discussing this morning. What do we have?
Let's show Fordo, and we can give you a little bit of a map of what we see here. Now, on this side, you can see the building that they were going after, and there were entrances over there by where you're standing, Joey, of really the security perimeter and the way they were coming in and out. We know actually that there were, in 2 days before this strike, so 2 days ago, there were a number of trucks along that highway that may have been trying to remove something. We don't know. We're hoping to learn more about that this morning in a press conference in a few hours.
Yeah, so what they did is they targeted what we call vents. So if you're going to put something 300 feet under the ground, you have to have a way to basically have air come in and out. So you have vents, you have places where air comes in and out. And why would you bust through ground and concrete when you can bust through a hole that takes you down? And so I just want to point this out about the bomb. It's a 30,000-pound bomb. It's not 30,000 pounds of explosives. It's 5,300 pounds of net explosive weight, which means you've got more than 20,000 pounds of steel, and that's what's used to penetrate into the ground. And it has to be designed in a certain way so that it doesn't fragment and splinter as soon as it hits something hard like the concrete. Once you get in there, it's such a contained space, you don't need a lot of explosives to do a lot of damage. To give you a little bit of a comparison, our Moab, mother of all bombs, that's around 18,000 pounds of explosives. So nowhere near the same size of explosive weight, but just as much destruction.
Bottom line, that building, that nuclear site, we believe, according to President Trump, may have been obliterated.
Yeah.
Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
President Trump hailing America's success for making the world a safer place as the U.S. strikes 3 major nuclear sites in Iran.
So how did it all work? Decorated Navy fighter pilot Matthew Wiz Buckley served in Iraq, and he joins us now. Sir, as we look at this map, I mean, first, the question is, how did we pull it off? I mean, before we even get here, how do we pull it off? How do we have B-2 bombers reported all day long going west, and apparently now we know some for 37 hours went east? Can you speak to the OPSEC it took to do that just across our military?
Good morning, Joey. Thank you for having me. Absolutely incredible demonstration of American military might and resolve. I'm a Navy guy, and I appreciated the Top Gun reference before the break there, but I do have to salute my sister service, the United States Air Force. God bless these airmen. 37-hour mission with multiple refueling stops. Refueling is not fun, especially when you're exhausted. I can't imagine how these aviators did that. My longest flight in the F-18 was about 8 hours. And remember, folks, you're not sitting on an airline seat. They're sitting on an ejection seat, a hard seat for that long of a time, and they're not getting up to go to the bathroom. So incredible feat by the United States Air Force, and then obviously our sailors on the tip of the spear as well in submarines and surface ships, and obviously the 2 carrier strike groups. And you alluded to something absolutely incredible: the OPSEC. From everything that I've heard, this thing was locked down pretty tight, and there was even some deception involved with some bombers taking off in other directions.
Yeah.
So absolutely incredible operation.
And Matthew, I just want to talk about, we heard so much about Fordo. This is, of course, the target that only could be hit by these massive ordnance penetrators, the bunker busters. And we understand from the IAEA that they could have possibly enriched in uranium from 60% to weapons grade 90 within about 3 weeks, produce 9 nukes. That was the urgency. But when we talk about really how it worked, that's what's fascinating to people when the bombers, and as Joey pointed out, the tactical ruse was phenomenal. But when you're hitting a target that hard, usually military planners start with the target, work backwards. Now you can see how the 2 separate bombs are dropped. First one explodes, creates that hole. What can you give us the insight about how this may have been carried out?
Well, it also sounded like they over-weaponeered. Initially,
Yes.
the reports were you always over-weaponeer in this case. There was 6 of these GBU-57. Well, it turns out there was probably double that amount, 12. If you're going to go in, you're going to go in hard, and you're going to leave nothing left to chance. So absolutely blow one of those big holes in there, follow up with another one of these. So again, incredible precision. This is exactly what this ordinance was designed for. No other purpose. So hats off to the men and women at Boeing for creating this weapon and making the world a separate place this morning.
Can you talk about the operator margin of error? Like how physically difficult was it to fly 37 hours and then basically to drop the bomb exactly where it needed to be? Is there a lot of control that the pilot is under in that moment? Is it all kind of automated through GPS? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, you bet, Joey. It's pretty automated, but the aviation skills come in, as we talked about, in-flight refueling. You're in-flight refueling at night, maybe even in bad weather, in clouds. That's pretty hardcore. But once you get into the target area, more or less, the HAL 2000 is going to take over, and there's a lot of automated stuff. But don't forget, this is enemy airspace. Soon as these aviators went feet dry into Iran, doesn't matter if we're pretty sure we have air superiority. I guarantee you the heart rates were up. Yeah. And remember, they obviously briefed before they got airborne. Hey, God forbid something happens, you have to eject. You're going to have to start evading. I guarantee you they were carrying weapons on them. Yeah, that's exactly right. This was a 100% combat mission. God forbid something happened with the aircraft. They weren't shut down, but the aircraft failed and they had to punch out. They're punching out into Iran, and I guarantee you, General Kane and the Pentagon had contingency plans to go in and rescue downed aviators.
Yeah, and the relief that the entire country felt when we saw President Trump's Truth Social post that the planes were out of Iranian airspace. Matthew Wiz Buckley, thank you for your insight. Very, very helpful.
Good morning, gents. Thanks.
Thank you for your service.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.